proceed, Solinus, to procure my fall, and by the doom of death end woes and all. Merchant of Syracuse, plead no more. I am not partial to infringe our laws. The enmity and discord which of late sprung from the rancorous outrage of your duke to merchants, our well-dealing countrymen, who wanting guilders to redeem their lives have sealed his rigorous statutes with their bloods, excludes all from our threatening looks. For since the mortal and intestine jars twixt thy seditious countrymen and us, it hath in solemn synods been decreed, both by the Syracusans and ourselves, to admit no traffic to our adverse towns. Nay more, if any born at Ephesus be seen at any Syracusan marts and fairs, again if any Syracusan born come to the bay of Ephesus, he dies.
His goods confiscate to the Duke's depose, unless 1,000 marks be levied, to quit the penalty and to ransom him. Thy substance, valued at the highest rate, cannot amount unto 100 marks, therefore by law thou art condemned to die. Yet this my comfort when your words are done, my woes end likewise with the evening sun. Well, Syracusian, say in brief the cause why thou depart'st from thy native home, and for what cause thou camest to Ephesus. A heavier task could not have been imposed than I to speak my grief unspeakable. Yet that the world may witness that my end was wrought by nature, not by vile offence, I'll utter what my sorrows give me leave. In Syracuse was I born, and wed unto a woman happy but for me, and by me had not our hap been bad.
And with her I lived in joy, our wealth increased by prosperous voyages I often made to Epidamnum, till my factor's death and the great care of goods at random left drew me from kind's embracements of my spouse, from whom my absence was not 6 months old, before herself almost at fainting under the pleasing pressure that women bear, had made provisions for her following me, and soon and safe arrived where I was. There had not been long, but she became a joyful mother of 2 goodly sons, and which was strange, the one so like the other, as could not be distinguished by names, that very hour, and in the same inn, a meaner woman was delivered of such a burden mill, twins both alike. Those for their parents were exceeding poor. I bought and brought up to attend my sons. My wife, not meanly proud of 2 such boys, made daily motions for her home return. Unwillingly, I agreed.
Alas, too soon we came aboard. A league from Epidamnum had we sailed before the always wind, obeying deep, gave any tragic instance of our harm. But longer did we not retain much hope, for what obscured light the heavens did grant, did but convey unto our fearful minds a doubtful warrant of immediate death, which though myself would gladly have embraced, yet the incessant weepings of my wife, weeping before for what she saw must come, and piteous plainings of the pretty babes, that mourned for fashion, ignorant what to fear, forced me to seek delays for them and me. And this it was, for other means was none. The sailors sought for safety by our boat, and left the ship, then sinking, ripe to us. My wife, more careful for the latter born, had fastened him unto a small spare mast, such as seafaring men provide for storms.
To him one of the other twins was bound, whilst I had been like heedful of the other. The children thus disposed, my wife and I, fixing our eyes on whom our care was fixed, fastened ourselves at either end of the mast, and floating straight, obedient to the stream, was carried towards Corinth, as we thought. At length of the sun, gazing upon the earth, dispersed those vapors that offended us, and by the benefit of his wished light, those seas waxed calm, and we discovered 2 ships from far making amain to us. Of Corinth that, of Epidarius this. But ere they came, oh, let me say no more, gather the sequel by that we went before.
Nay, forward, old man, do not break off so, for we may pity, but do not pardon thee.
Oh, Had the gods done so, I had not now worthily termed these merciless to us.
For ere the ships could meet by twice 5 leagues, we were encountered by a mighty rock, which, being violently borne upon, our helpful ship had splitted in the mist, so that in this unjust divorce of us, fortune had left to both of us alike what to delight in, what to sorrow for. Her part, poor soul, seeming as burdened with lesser weight but not with lesser woe, was carried with more speed before the wind, and in our sight they 3 were taken up by fishermen in Corinth, as we thought. At length another ship had seized upon us, and knowing whom it was their hap to save, gave healthful welcome to their shipwrecked guests, and would have reft the fishers of their prey, had not their bark been very slow of sail, and therefore homeward did they bend their course. Thus have you heard me severed from my bliss, that by misfortunes my life prolonged, to tell sad stories of my own mishaps.
And for the sake of them thou sorrowest for, do me the favour to dilute at full what hath befallen of them and thee till now. My youngest boy, and yet my eldest care, at 18 years became inquisitive after his brother, and importuned to me that his attendant, so his case was like, reft of his brother, but retained his name, might bear him company in the quest of him, whom whilst I laboured of a love to see, I hazarded the loss of whom I loved. 5 summers I spent in furthest Greece, roaming clean through the bounds of Asia, and coasting homewards, came to Ephesus, hopeless to find, yet loath to leave unsought, or that or any place that harbours men. But here must end the story of my life, and happy were I in my timely death, could all my travels warrant me they live.
Hapless Aegeon, whom the fates have marked to bear the extremity of dire mishap. Now, trust me, were it not against our laws, against my crown, my oath, my dignity, which princes would they may not disannul, my soul would sue as advocate for thee. But, though thou art adjudged to the death, and past sentence may not be recalled, but to our honour's great disparagement, yet I will favour thee in what I can. Therefore, merchant, I'll limit thee this day, to seek thy life by beneficial help. Try all the friends thou hast in Ephesus. Beg thou or borrow to make up the sum, and live. If no, then thou art doomed to die. Jailer, take into thy custody.
I will, my lord. Hopeless and helpless doth the Aegeon wend, but to procrastinate his lifeless end.